Hey Earthlings, I want to talk about something real quick, and that is that I got my medication. Yay, this is my box to put my medication in, and it has not been filled in several months. I've always had Medicaid, by the way. Since I was 18, I've had state coverage, or before that, when I turned 18, I continued to have state coverage, and then I know that you can get insurance because you become pregnant, and then a lot of times parents will lose that coverage as soon as a child is born, which is so counterproductive, because let me tell you, as a child, I continued to get Medicaid coverage and could go to therapy and receive medication, but my mother did not have state insurance, so she could not get the same therapy and medication that I needed. And it's my belief that we both needed the therapy and medication. And how can a child improve when their parents is not given the same accessible medical treatment as the child? As in, I'm in psychiatric, but my mother is not. And where do you think I got it from? It's genetically passed down. So anyways, it's just my reminder to tell everybody that medication and having the option to take medication is a privilege, and one that I have been blessed with my entire life, up until, I'm off this about myself, up until the last 6 months or so, when I was knocked off of insurance because my daughter was knocked off of insurance. And so now I've had to reapply. I did get accepted without my daughter on, unfortunately, but I had to go to the pharmacy and pick up the month's worth of prescription medication that was given to me while going into the ER, and multiple ER visits. And I have just now been able to pick everything up because it would have cost me a fortune to pick all of this up myself, and I wasn't able to afford it without coverage. And so it's interesting when people will take away my God-given right as a mother to my child, take away my child based off of the fact that they think I'm not taking the medications that they think I should be taking, that they're used to me taking, that they've always known me to be taking, and then said, no, we heard you're off your meds. I didn't tell anybody I was not on my meds because I knew they would have this reaction. So when they're like, you haven't been on your meds for 6 months, I was like, no, it's actually been about 2 years. And this is exactly why I kept it from everyone, because you guys think that psych medication is the only way that I can remain stable. Let me tell you the second thing. In this box, not one of these is psych medication. It's all for physical symptoms. Let me tell you, mentally, I am not doing well when I get sick. But there's not psych medication in here because I've learned how to handle my mental health through other treatments better and more available also. Like, let's not mention, like, let's add that I remember there were times that my mom couldn't afford to pick up the medications, and she'd have to go to a doctor and ask if they had samples in the back, and oftentimes I was taking samples of the little pill popping like sheets that were given out by doctors that the pharmaceutical companies give to the doctors, and the doctors get an incentive to give people those pills, and they would give my mom samples until we could, afford to pick up the bottle in store. And so again, guys, medication, there's lots of people I know personally who should be on medication. They have the symptoms that would require psychiatric medication. Do they have the money to pick up their script? Do they have the insurance to make the appointment and then the appointment be covered? Because let me tell you, co-pays adding up. I would have not been able to go to therapy weekly if I had co-pays, like $30, $25. I did not have $25 weekly to give to a therapist to talk to her. So the fact that I have learned how to stabilize my mental health through talk therapy is because I was privileged enough to have therapy. And I'm thinking about the mothers whose children were taken away because their other parent thought that they should be on psych meds. Okay, are you going to pay for those psych meds? Are you going to pay for the appointments for this parent to be the better person that they need to be for you to think that their child can be in their care? And what happens when psych meds don't treat the conditions? Will they have access to the other forms of treatment that do? I think it's a question we should all be asking ourselves when we speak about people who we think need to be on medication. Much love, Earthlings.